Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with week 5 of the NFL season, and we are definitely seeing some trends as we did when it came to fantasy baseball with our fantasy football teams. We're going to go through the 4 and see which teams are trending in the right direction and which teams need to turn it around. Worse than the Browns and or the Bengals. The first team we're going to start with is the deranged Easter Bunny. This week we brought a record to 4-1 with a big win, 140-92. Our top scorer was Jay Daniels with 35, followed by Amon-Ra St. Brown with 23. The lowest scorer, or the most disappointing score, was Quentin Johnston. He only got us 7 points, but everyone else pretty much did their job and did pretty well. The drops lists were pretty short for all teams except one this week. The deranged Easter Bunny was one of the short ones. We added Darren Waller and dropped Trey Benson because he went on IL. He'll be back shortly, so we'll see if we pick him back up. So after week 5, we were sitting pretty with a 4-1 record, but cannot be complacent. There's a lot of football left to play and a lot of time for me to screw up. The next team we're into is the Party Time Party Boys. Unfortunately, this week we played a guy who had his Super Bowl per se and scored the most points in the league and probably the most points he's going to score the entire year. We lost 121-203. Yep, that was a pretty bad beating. Our top scorers were Baker Mayfield and Kyron Williams, both scoring 31 points. On the other side, we have Quentin Johnston and Jacoby Myers, both only scoring 7 points. Zach Ertz getting a goose egg for me, and the Baltimore defense putting up -3. Wow. That defense is terrible. This is another pretty short add and drop list. We added Hollywood Brown, which I don't know how I feel about that. He's somewhat consistent, but not sexy. And we dropped the New England Patriots defense, which we're probably going to be looking to get them back. They're looking pretty decent. As we move on over to the ESPN leagues, we're going to start with the Vince McMahon Football Club. Unfortunately, this high-scoring affair did not end well for us as we lost 188-211. Our top scorer was Mr. Kyron Williams with 35 points, followed by David Montgomery with 30, and then Jared Goff with 26. On the other side, unfortunately, Mr. Trey McBride and Quentin Johnston only got 6 points apiece, and Sean Tucker, the lesser involved back, only got us 2 points. So really thought that was going to be a little different for us. Then you look at how the Lions defense was doing. They had us up to 34 points and then continued to give more and more points. But then we also sat Mr. Baker Mayfield, who got us 35 points. So when you add the 14 points that the Lions would have gotten had they continued with the very good game, instead of the 20 they got us, so it's 34, it's another 14. And then had we started Mr. Baker Mayfield instead of Jared Goff, it's another 9. That's 23 points. We lost by 23 points. Technically, the score was 211.5 to 188.75. Another 23 points. We'd have won by 0.25 points. But it's all good. We move to the adds and drops. This one was the longer one. We added Sean Tucker. Bad decision. Malik Washington. Didn't really do a whole lot for the Dolphins, even though they were shorthanded. And Christopher Rodriguez, who sat behind Bill McCroskey, however you say his name, Merritt, that guy. Yeah, the one who did well for the Redskins. And on the other side, we dropped Jerome Ford, Jeremy McNichols, and Jake Elliott. This loss brought our record to 3-2, so not bad at all. Still lots of football left, but obviously still time for us to make better waiver wire selections, even though there's like 50 million people on each team, or so it seems. The last team we're talking about is the Jerome Hortz Purple Dragons. Now, this team is definitely on a certain trajectory, and it's not good. The loss this week, 110-132, brought a record to 0-5. Some of them have been close. This one, not as close. However, we're wasting some pretty good performances. Our top scorer was Jared Goff with 26 points, followed by CMC with 19, and then D. Montgomery with 18. Derrick Henry only got us 9 points. We need you to step up, brother. We need that. Trey McBride only got us 4 points in this league, and the Eagles defense only got 1 point. Oof. Let's move to the adds and drops. Another short one. We added Tyquan Thornton and dropped Mr. Jerome Ford. He has dropped in a lot of leagues. So across my leagues, I'm looking at 4-1 and then 0-5 and a mixture in between. That shows that we can improve in every single league, some definitely more than others. So that's why we're going to look at the guys I think you should add. And the first guy we're going to look at is Romeo Doubs. I like to say Romeo Doubs. He is clearly one of the top wide receivers in Jordan Love's eyes, and I definitely think he's going to be beneficial. If your name is not Tucker Kraft, then that would be the most beneficial. Hopefully, the passing game will open up a little more running lane for my man, Mr. Josh Jacobs. Another wide receiver you should look at is Kenyon Bourne. I think it's Kenyon Bourne. something born for the 49ers with that very depleted and up and down type of receiving corps for the 49ers. And who even knows who's going to be their quarterback from now on. Bourne had 11 targets, 10 receptions, 140 plus yards. Did he have a touchdown too? I don't know. But in any case, he was the apple of Mac Jones' eye last week. And with Ricky Pearsall coming back, a lot of the coverage is going to go to Ricky Pearsall. George Kittle might be coming back. More attention is going to be given to him. So again, Bourne could have another big game. Or you could just give it to CMC and let him do all the work too. Moving to quarterbacks, a recent trade, as in like, I think it was yesterday, the Joe Flacco saga will continue for another team as now Jamar Chase and T. Higgins get to look at passes from a former Super Bowl champion and MVP, right? Yeah, that's what you want to call him. He is someone you could look at, right? I mean, if you're desperate enough, but are you going to be looking at any of the other receivers in that offense a little more, maybe to get them in a trade because they have a somewhat competent guy? Now, let's not look at his production in Cleveland as that's the way he can do. It's more of a, he's now got a lot of talent around him at running back, at wide receiver, at tight end. So yeah, Joe Flacco could be the second coming of Joe Flacco. Moving to tight end, I think you should look at Mr. Mason Taylor, tight end for the Jets. He is the son of Hall of Fame defensive end Jason Taylor. Well, he was like a linebacker, defensive end, like a flex hybrid position. Anyway, he's getting good attention in that offense. They definitely want to get the tight end involved. I feel like the Jets have always had someone at tight end who's been able to do well, but they're not the sexiest name. So maybe Taylor can make that change. The last ad I'm going to ask you to look at is on defense. You absolutely positively have to look at the New England Patriots. They have a great matchup this week with a very subpar, disappointing Saints team. They're the Aints, going back to the 70s. But they also have a pretty good schedule afterwards. I also do think that we have to look at some others. We're going to talk about those later because there's a bye week. But right now, the Patriots are the team I think you should look at for their defense. That's going to do it for the recaps and the people I think you should add. Hopefully your team is doing better than my Jerome Horse Purple Dragons. Hopefully you're able to hit that waiver wire and pick up some of the better guys on this list and or some of the guys that are available in your leagues because mine are kind of dried up. Anyways, thinking positively, I hope you have a great week. This is Jake Cake, and I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.